Hello, and welcome to all of you. We are honored and proud that you want to listen in today. We know that your time is valuable, so we'll try to be precise and to the point. The intro text to this webinar was, we all use cloud services in one shape or form, whether it's the public cloud, a private one, or a mix, which is most likely the case for most companies. But do you have a strategy for how to handle your data workloads and storage in the cloud? We'd like to welcome you to our webinar discussing these and other topics and what to expect from your cloud provider in 2020. Again, welcome to all of you. So, first of all, I would like to introduce the team or the host for today. And modestly starting with myself, I am the guy responsible for all the commercial stuff around our managed services in Denmark. That is from the services that we are addressing today to modern workplace, network as a service, etc. And then I would like to give the word over to my colleague, Dan.
My name is Dan Mortensen, and I'm the service product manager for our infrastructure services in the Nordics. And we also have John with us today. So John, please.
Yes, my name is John Klar, and I'm situated in Malmo, working as a solution architect. If the sound is bad, it's because I'm in my wardrobe. It's strange times, but it's what it is. Nice that you are here and listening to us. And back to Janice.
As you can see on this slide today, besides giving you a bit of insights, views and perspectives on the cloud and issues around it, we'll have a bit of interaction with you as well. And hopefully even a bit of fun as well in a small quiz. And yes, there will be prizes for the top runners today. So we will use Menti and Kahoot along this webinar. So please write down these URLs and codes to be used a bit later. We will have them introduced to you later as well, but just to be sure. Or you could even download the two apps to your phone so you can actually join in from one screen and see the result on the other one. So this is the agenda for today. We will try to keep it at around 40 to 45 minutes, but much, of course, depends on the questions that you give. And according to that, please do not hesitate to ask questions along the way. We'll try to answer along the way in the Q&A, but else we will sum up in the end. And what we'll try to cover today is a bit about market trends, which I will talk a bit about myself. And then we will go into a bit of a strategy around the cloud and also why. Then we will have a short Menti poll asking for your opinion and your views on stuff, on quite a lot of different things. Then we will turn it over to a bit of a dialogue between us and actually talk a bit about what to expect from a cloud provider in 2020. And then we will turn it over to John to talk a bit about the importance of preparing, because we see that's sometimes an issue out there. So we will address that as well. And then in the end, we will just briefly touch upon our Dustin private cloud setup and what we can offer you today, and ending up, of course, with the questions. Talking about trends, a little more than a year ago, we in Dustin invested a fair chunk of our marketing money in making trend reports within 3 different areas. So that's cloud, modern workplace, and also collaboration. And it was, of course, all to give us more knowledge about the market in general, but also specifically to get input around development of our services. It was no surprise to us to see the increasing usage of the cloud and also usage of multiple clouds connected to each other. And you can see some of the numbers that you can find in the report, which you can actually download from our webpage. You can see them here. But we were also kind of interested to put this together with our own experiences in the market to find out if our guesses around the connected issues was correct. For instance, what are the challenges in the overview? Where are my data and is it backed up, etc.? What do I do if I have a disaster in a public cloud situation, for instance? And then there's a lot of talk about price issues and trying to understand how everything's connected. Of course, the security part is quite an issue out there. Looking into especially the public cloud setups, there's these end user license agreement, and I don't know if anybody actually tried to read one of those through, but it's usually 40, 50 pages written in very small letters. So it's a lot of things to deep dive into. So all about how do I get an overview of the possibilities out there and what is the right thing for me. And therefore, we connected these trend reports to a questionnaire or an interview with 300 of our own customers across the Nordics, asking the question, what are your biggest IT challenges today and in the years to come? And before we change slide here, let me just give you a heads up that in some of the Kahoot questions, you should pay attention because there will be questions, maybe some of them even around the numbers at this page. And these were the conclusions, actually, talking about the challenges with our customers. So in many ways, our guesses were correct, but now we try to put it a bit simpler into 4 boxes, like you see on this page. So obviously, security and stability would still be key challenges to handle, but exactly the lack in overview, for instance, how to get actual benefits out of the many possibilities is a key headache for many SMB customers, at least. And also how to make companies adapt into the benefits and not at least how to prioritize between the many possibilities are very hot topics out there and something that we meet every day. And then, of course, while doing this, we got some additional input around general trends in the market, both in the other trend reports, modern workplace and collaboration, but of course also in the interviews with the customers, telling us that we need to focus and accept that, for instance, on the headline, a new ecosystem that you see here, we know that more and more IT solutions are being industrialized and standardized to be able to scale. And we see an increased complexity and security demands, which all is something that we need to think about when we develop our services, and also, of course, where we need to focus our competencies and development of those. Also, we see changes in the user behavior and user expectations, and especially, of course, during the last 8 months during this corona pandemic, it would be easy. It should be easy to work from anywhere and from any device, and of course, easy to collaborate between platforms. And then, of course, we also experience higher and higher expectations on the importance of sustainability. So we need to develop sustainable solutions in everything that we do. And all of these findings has given us input towards our services setup and how to develop and our services to accommodate all these trends, needs, and expectations. And that's what you see here. This is our promise to ourselves and to our customers. And therefore, we have actually also added an entire department around adoption services towards, for instance, Microsoft 365. And we've also added a lot of services around Azure, how to get there, how to scale, how to optimize, and of course, how to operate that. Summing up about the trends, we find that there's no one size fits all out there. The possibilities are endless, and in Dustin, we take great pride in the fact that we doesn't really care whether you choose to operate your own on-prem solution, if you want to go to the public cloud, or if you choose a local hosting partner, or maybe even a combination. We can deliver on all these options, and we just want to help you make the right decision. And that was a bit about trends. And now I'll just turn it over to Dan to talk a bit about defining your strategy towards the cloud. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Jonas. Exactly. So starting off, but by defining the strategy and the journey to the cloud, I think, and also what we see in the dialogues with our customers is really important to understand why we are doing it. What is the motivation behind moving workloads and applications or functions up into some kind of cloud solution, and also very important is what is the business outcomes, what do you as a customer want to see in the end game of some kind of business justification towards the organization of doing this transition and actually enhancing your capabilities to grasp the possibilities that the different clouds are providing. And then how are we doing this, and how do we identify the first project to enter into this a little bit unknown area for many of our customers? And John will touch up on the last bullet here, but I will try to cover the other ones. If we go to the next slide. So also quite a lot of myths that is the buzz out in the market as the cloud is always cheaper, cloud is not secure. On the other hand, I can run workloads on-prem cheaper than in the cloud. Everything should go into the cloud or move to the cloud. It's like flipping a switch. We all know that all of this, as Jonas mentioned, there is no simple answer on where to put the right workloads. It needs to be invested and analyzed really thoroughly, and also not be dazzled by all the opportunities, but have a clear business goal, but what you want to achieve in the end game actually. So if we take the next slide. So it could be critical business events or critical business drivers, such as the end of support of mission critical technologies that you have in your on-prem environment today. It might also be that you have been acquired, or you have acquired a company or going to merge together, which keeps pressure on the on-prem infrastructure and needs to be agile. Or it's just an exit from a current data center because of different drivers. Could also be in the budget process that you see that the capex is quite tensed in the overall P&L, and you want to move over to a more agile financial model, like the operational expenditure. Also, the regulatory changes around us in the world is also putting a lot of pressure on the IT department and the organization as a whole to comply of those rules. As everyone probably have been experienced, the GDPR has put quite a lot of pressure on both from a process perspective, but also from technical perspective to be able to comply. And also, it's always the nudging feeling that if some unforeseen disruption is hitting the infrastructure, how are we coping with that and be able to get up and running within a time frame that is acceptable for the organization? So these could be possible business events or drivers for actually looking to partly or as a whole move into other type of delivery models that the cloud can provide for you. Looking to the next slide, we also see that there is quite a lot of triggers for migration that could be cost savings actually, and also internal optimization of the operations organization. Also, as the environment are evolving and we are putting in more and more functions and applications, the vendor spread get more broadened, and the technology complexity within the data center with all the different dependencies is also adding to the complexity, and it's getting harder and harder to maintain. Also, the ability to be agile and have faster time to deploy new resources and applications when the organization has that demand, and also increase the speed of time to market for new features or new functionality that can actually be enhancing the company's overall performance by adopting new functions or technology quite rapidly. And also the ability to scale fast to meet the new demands that might come from the business side, depending on what is happening in the core business. So basically, it's really important to define the end game to see, okay, we want to have this initiative, we want to move, we want to try out these new possibilities that the market has evolved to. We strongly advise to engage different stakeholders. This is not just an IT question, it's a company-wide question that needs to be firmed down and focused and scoped down. And it could be all of these 5 bullets. It could be financial, agility outcomes, or geographical reach or performance outcomes that you want to have the possibility to scale performance, or compliance and security reasons. That is the main driver. We strongly advise you to actually take a step back and define the scope and what you want to achieve by moving into a cloud setup. We also often challenge our customers when they approach us and want to start a journey to the cloud with excuse me, exactly this type of questions. So
I guess you have already clicked the links and logged into Menti, and we have 2 questions for you, just to see where you are in your cloud journey and what's your take on the cloud. So the first question here: what is your key motivation to go into the cloud? Is it from capex to opex? Is it flexibility? Is it consumption-based cost? Less admin, maintenance of systems and applications, or is it other? We have 1 on consumption-based cost, to scale up and scale down in both costs, and we have some people don't want to admin and maintenance stuff. That's I can agree on that one. Automate as much as you can. Okay, we can do flexibility, and we give it a few more seconds and then we jump into the next question.
I guess people should have a chance to just download the app and put in the code, of course. So yeah. So who will be the winner?
It's always about the money.
And there's a question that we announced Kahoot as well, and that will be there as well later in the webinar. So yes.
Let's go to the next question then. How cloud are you today? What is cloud? Never heard of it, maybe. Up to 25%, between 25 and 50, 50 to 75, and 79 to 99, and 100% cloud-born. We have one who is cloud-born there. But as we see, cloud services are is what we use today in one form or another. Yeah, but pretty much.
Yeah, it's giving quite a nice picture that at least a lot of companies are just beginning the cloud journey, I guess.
Yeah, they started it, and that's good. Yeah.
Okay.
Most of you have started the cloud journey anyway. So, but we now go over to Dan to see what we can get a grip on, what to expect from a cloud provider here in 2020. Over to you, Dan.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, so we can take the next slide then. So we have quite a couple of bullet points that we are focusing on when we are developing our new services, and one of them that is very high up on our priority list is flexibility. And what do we actually think when we talk about flexibility, Janos?
Yeah, thank you, Dan. Yeah, that's correct. Talking about flexibility is, of course, usually one of the key advantages that everybody is talking about in the cloud. Not being dependent on the limitations of your own infrastructure and never having to pay for performance that you don't actually need. Being able to scale down, scale up, handling seasonal fluctuations, the ability to follow the actual needs and being invoiced accordingly. And these are, of course, there's a lot of talk about this in the market, but you will actually find that at least within private cloud, many of our, the usual suspects, many of our competitors in the market they have set a minimum usage in the contract. So and you can think about if that gives you the flexibility that you actually need. In our opinion, being tied to each other is usually not the best starting point for constructive collaboration. And therefore, we actually take pride in the fact that we share the fate of desire, not of need. Or put in another way, instead of tying you up with law, we would rather dazzle you with our service and thereby never wanting to leave us. So in Dustin Private Cloud, we have no minimum usage in our contracts. And if the customer wants it, we can even benchmark their setup against, for instance, a public cloud solution like Azure on a regular basis to figure out what's the best solution for the customer. We can do that once or twice a year, but it's usually a good thing to have your solution benchmarked towards other key players out there. And then another part of flexibility. Within the infrastructure service from Dustin, you can actually choose between different levels of services connected to your servers. So, for instance, if you want to handle everything yourself on some specific servers, and you want us to handle the entire operations on other servers, you do that. And you even have the ability to change it on a monthly basis. So, for instance, if your IT department is going on a summer holiday or some of your people have resigned, then we can take it over for just a couple of months. Likewise, you have the opportunity to change performance tiers on the fly if you need it. And of course, more or less all of the above can be handled by yourself in our state-of-the-art self-service portal. But Dan will give you some input around this in a minute. So this was a bit about the flexibility that we think that you should ask for in the market. And then I'll turn it over to John to talk a bit about standardization, support, contact, and of course, data integrity and recovery as well.
Thanks, Janice. Standardization, that sounds boring to most people, but it's actually of a good thing. When we talk about standards, we mean that it's best to build IT environments on standards. This to accomplish with standard applications, standard procedures, and to ensure a future-proof platform. It's easier for us and even for you to support. It's smooth and easy operation. Access to competence is easier to have, and also change, improvement, development, and future move, etc. Standard is a good thing, and even though we build things on standard, we need to customize, but that's no biggie if the foundation is on standard. We see it as we put an adapter in front of the service and you as a customer to deliver a great customer experience. And of course you need support, because support is a vital part of cloud services today and must be included in some level, depending on what type of service it is and of course on your needs. Often you can choose different levels of support and response times. It's utterly important to have clear SLAs so you know what to expect, because mismatch in expectation and delivery, that's something we don't want, neither of us. So make sure that clear SLAs are included and ask for the level of support that you need. Further on, continuous follow-up on these SLAs and well-defined delivery processes, they ensure a stable operation and will lower the need for support. So that's a good thing. Still, to deliver great customer experience, it's really important to have a clear and easy way to reach support. And you can reach us by mail, by chat, portals, and phone, whatever suits you best. I guess we're all still human beings, most of us anyway, and sometimes we need to speak to someone and discuss the matter, because it's so complicated that we have to talk to someone that understands us and can cut time and get to the solution faster. And we at Dustin, of course, delivers help desk and spot services. So feel free to reach out. We're gonna jump over to some data integrity and recovery as well. And data integrity is, of course, important as well. And it refers to the accuracy and consistency of data stored in a database or a data warehouse. And we as cloud providers can help you with the physical part, making the data searchable, recoverable, and consistent in databases, backup, and so forth. But the logical part, what the information actually is, that's up to you if you store rubbish or good documents or whatever. So in short, data integrity aims to prevent unintentional changes to information during its lifetime. If we then talk a little bit about recovery. Recovery is a quite extensive area, and it's sometimes hard to grasp, since it's everything from file backup to geographical disaster recovery. And it's tightly integrated with cost, because if you want to have low downtime and maybe fast recovery, it costs more. That's nothing. What do you say? That's not strange. Sorry, but if you take Microsoft 365, for example, the emails are about 30 days recoverable, so they recommend third-party solutions. So we are glad to help you out with that, of course, if you want to. We are going to back to Dan, I think, talking about some advisory.
Yeah, exactly. So as John is mentioning, Dustin take good pride in helping you as a customer to take the right decisions. And Dustin as a company are known to be the aggregator of them in the market, not only for delivering products, but also for delivering great services, and also to be able to give advice where we think your workloads will reside best, and by showing you with the full transparency how the different services are delivered is truly giving you a security that you know what you're getting. And we are also able to help you out to do quite extensive TCO analysis of different workloads by using tools. I think John will mention that in a bit, where we are actually analyzing your situation from a technical point of view, from a financial point of view, and from a commercial point of view, to give you the best recommendation as the trusted advisor that we like you to see us. That was a little bit about the transparency and our role as your speaking partner. thinking, John, that the preparation is quite important, right? So if we move over to the next slide, I think you will touch upon that, right?
Thank you, Dan. Yes, of course, it's really important. In the past, many companies thought that the pre-study was something you had to do just to have to do it, a quickly produced manual to get from A to B, often moving from on-prem to hosting one-to-one, and then continue working in the same way as before. And that's partly true. And this was something to bargain with. Since the cloud provider got 36 months of contract, you should give that away, the pre-study. But the reality is today is really a bit different, because it's a lot of different cloud services and levels of complexity. There are infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service. So instead of bargaining in, see pre-study as the opportunity to actually improve your organization and maybe change old ways of working, becoming more productive using the new services that's in the market right now. This is really important. And also take the chance to get to know your future IT partner as well. So on the next slide here, we have some general advice that we usually do in our pre-studies. Defining the scope. And it's really important to keep to the scope, as in any project, and really to keep it simple. Confirm that all prerequisite step has a tick in the box. It's checked out before you finalize your plan. And also check that it aligns with your strategy, as Dan talked about, to your IT strategy, so you get the most out of the project. So in the scope, you can have some consolidation, improvement, change, and automation to some extent, but try keeping it simple so the project will be graspable and successful. And make a list of improvements, the third bullet here. Since you can't do it all, put it on the improvement list and work and prioritize among them later on, because you will find out great ideas along the way. And there are really a lot of tools in the market right now, inventory tools that can translate your current workload and see where it fits the best, either if it's in Azure or AWS and just in private cloud or whatever. So these are really good things to use. And of course, do the risk assessment, identify and analyze the risks, migrate or innovate, we used to say, because if an application is too old to migrate and upgrade, innovate and get something else and better instead. So take this opportunity to grow and be more productive. And always think of security, since cybercrime is rising. Focus a little bit on increasing your IT security. And of course, education. If you change the ways of working, you need to educate your employees or the staff so they can use the new applications in a better way and be more productive, so you actually do what you thought and set out to do. And with its pre-study, we estimate timelines, of course, so you can be prepared. What maybe impact it will have on you, some downtime, the project timeline, the stretch of the timeline, and of course the costs. So that's some advice and something we do during the pre-study. So Janice, would you like to give us some insights in the Dustin private cloud?
Yeah, just briefly about Dustin Private Cloud. I guess many of you only know Dustin as like a hardware and software provider, because that's what we are mainly known for in the Nordics. But that said, we have actually bought like more than 10 companies whose main focus is around services. And we have tried to standardize those services between our different countries. And that actually means that we do have a very professional setup today. We already talked briefly about our services back with the flexibility part and flexibility connected. So this is just briefly. And also just a bit of random information on what we're working with in operations. You can look at the numbers yourself. And operation is usually something that you don't see every day, but we have highly skilled and motivated individuals with pride in what we do. And as you can see on the top right corner, we have one operation, one services, one platform, and one network, all connected together. And what this map also shows us is that we have data centers in every Nordic country. So that, for instance, means that if you are like a Swedish company, for instance, and you have a Danish department for, I don't know, sales or production or something like that, we can actually design the solution to accommodate exactly that. So your Danish colleagues will have local access and thereby optimizing the latency. So one network across country is what we can actually deliver today. And just to show you a bit about our self-service portal as well, Dan will give you just a brief picture on that, which is also an extremely important part of our solution. So Dan.
Yeah, exactly. So transparency and self-service is the modern way to go in the 2020. And obviously, Dustin has taken this step and integrated our private cloud into a self-service functionality. So just showing on the next slide a little bit of what you can expect by consuming resources into our private cloud. You will get access to a dashboard when you in real time can go in and view which resources you are consuming from a number of VMs, a number of vCPUs, RAM, amount of data that you are storing, and also see how it has been trending over a period of time that you decide. You have also the possibility to go into the actual virtual machine itself and to edit and add more resources or actually delete a machine directly from the portal. You are also able to deploy new servers directly from the portal with our repository of predefined servers. And also be able to reach the console of the actual VM directly from the portal. And also quite important, the report functionality where you can see how much consumption you have consumed over a month or over a year or over a few days. So that is what we mean with true transparency towards our end customers and the ability to move agile without even have to interact with Dustin's service desk to make changes. Of course, we also work in our operations within the ITIL process when it comes to change management and incident management and those things, and with really clear SLAs. So that was that about our Dustin private cloud. Now I definitely think it's time for a game, Janos.
That is correct. So yes, we will have the Kahoot now. Some of you asked about this previously, so we will have it now. And now it's time to actually figure out if you listened in carefully. So you can type in the code, the game pin code that you see in the top screen here, and just in a minute we will start the actual Kahoot. And as I promised, there will be prizes. So the first top 3 runners will win 2 cinema tickets with corresponding candy and soda as well, of course. So a small pop quiz. How much did infrastructure as a service rise by in Q1 2019? We have 2 questions, only 2 questions. Okay. We will go to the, and it's Per who is taking the lead. And we have the next question. And that's how many companies are expected to use some form of cloud by 2022? And 4 answers for now. 5, 6, 5 seconds to go. 4, 3, 2, 1. Yes. And the correct answer was 90%. And what do we see here? Now it's JL taking the lead. And can we continue with the next question? According to Dustin's study within 300 Nordic companies, what is not one of the biggest challenges within IT departments? Price of the cloud was correct. And Pelle, he is climbing. And I guess this is the last question. What kind of flexibility is offered by Dustin within Dustin Infrastructure as a Service? Three answers, 4 answers. And there you go. Of course, it was all of the above. So who will be the winner? Pelle, congratulations. You are number 3. And Per is number 1. And the winner will be JL. Congratulations to all of you. You have cinema tickets coming up for you. Yeah, that was just a bit of fun. I hope that was okay. So just to sum everything up for today and talking about the key takeaways from today, it was of course quite a brief session. But we tried to cover a bit about market trends, strategy around cloud and why, what to expect from a cloud provider in 2020, and of course the importance of preparing. So do anybody have questions? Of course, I want to let you know that after this session, we'll of course send out the presentation to you. And in this, you will also have our contact info, so you can easily reach out if the session has inspired you to take the next step and have a meeting with us. So of course, you will see the presentation afterwards.
Thank you, everyone, for spending some time with us today, and I hope that it gave you some insights in how Dustin are perceiving the journey to the cloud and what we can offer to help you on that journey, and also what we can offer as part of the delivery package that the cloud can offer. So have a nice Thursday evening, and hope to see you soon in the next webinar that will be posted. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.